All right, we'll start near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I just love the two-color contrast here, softened by the mist. This is a real summer paradise in its last day or so before the hard season hits. Then it was on to Little Bighorn in Hardin, Montana. Well, you can't beat living history, and this is it, the last stand right here. Custer's not buried here anymore. He's at West Point. But the remains of all of the regular soldiers and civilians killed in the last stand are under this monument. When I was here 2 summers ago, it was 113 degrees, very crowded. Today, 28, rainy and blowing cold. I was alone with Custer's ghost. Next up, the Badlands of eastern Montana. It is indeed a hard-scrabble life out here. It can be pretty bleak-looking sometimes. I stopped here in Broadus, Montana, because it reminded me very much at the time of Enron, Texas, the town in The Last Picture Show, which is one of my favorite movies. Broadus is the big smoke on Highway 212, which, as you can see, doesn't account for a whole lot. People don't tend to congregate here in large numbers. On that day, the ill wind was really blowing. It was rattling the cottonwood leaves. Cottonwood leaves, before they fall, are gray. It struck me as being appropriate in a place that even in fall doesn't seem to get a lot of color. Not far from Broadus is Hammond. It's a textbook example of man's tenuous hold on this landscape. Hard to imagine anybody ever came in here and rented Mermaid or It's a Wonderful Life, bought a quart of milk, or had a Dutch lunch. Your tax dollars at work, right across the street. I suspect that mail is the only thing that makes a regular stop around here now. The rest of the world has been passing by Hammond for a long time. 3 of the residents we know are pretty happy with the place. We found alongside the road some pretty good-sized gobblers here. And although they didn't stick around to explain why, they did give us a pretty good example of turkeys crossing the road. Then the rain. It poured for the next 800 miles through Montana, South Dakota, the top half of Minnesota, and northern Iowa. Clear Lake, Iowa. Yeah, there is a lake there, but it's not why I stopped. No, that was across the street from the lake. The surf ballroom is still there, as it was for the winter dance party on the night of February 3rd, 1959, when Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper and Richie Valens played their final concert there. And the music died in a plane crash in a cornfield not far out of town later that night. Come this February, the lake will mark the 50th anniversary of the day it became the number 2 thing Clear Lake is best known for. Now, excuse my naivete, but I had no idea that Iowa really does have as much corn as advertised. It seems to simply coat everything. And I like it because it's well-groomed as a crop. Makes the whole state look like a big lawn, albeit a dead one at this time of the year. Something that's very much alive is the 2-for-1 energy production that's vigorously being planted in these fields now. You see it more everywhere. Fall is such a wonderful time to travel, even along an interstate. Seems every mile I wanted to stop and get out and catch a scene. Which will explain why I crossed into Ohio at 1:38 in the morning, ran the gauntlet of several hundred semis on I-70, and didn't get to Columbus until about 3:30. The end of a slow and fascinating road here. And now Columbus is a blank slate, and I can't wait to explore it.